Good Monday afternoon. Jerry Miller, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. We are live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. We have a great show lined up for you. We're going to spotlight an entrepreneur, a talented one, and Leah Michelle. She's going to join us on this program to spotlight her journey as a businesswoman, to talk about life in this COVID-19 landscape. She's a mom. She's a Charlottesvillian. She knows the community inside and out from a lot of different perspectives. We're going to have a journey with her in about 10 minutes on the program to brighten your Monday afternoon. I'm going to introduce you to some headlines that I followed closely over the weekend. I'm a voracious appetite for reading. Try to pass that content and knowledge back to you in a digestible format so you can leave perhaps feeling more empowered as I feel empowered when I read and I digest knowledge. I'm proud to be in Charlottesville, and I'm proud to be with you today. We are an advertising agency here. We work with a lot of small businesses, and we're proud to do that. We're excited. We look forward to going to work on a Monday after a weekend with the family. And I walk in the front door of our studio or my office on the second floor on Market Street in Charlottesville, Virginia, in downtown Charlottesville, and I come in feeling invigorated and ready to be the best version of myself. And I've seen so many businesses try that as well and have success. Being the best version of yourself is doing the best you can with the conditions that you have. And Interstate Pest and Service Companies embodies that mindset. A 4-generation strong business, Interstate Pest and Service Companies, and Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Scott Wagner and his team changing people's lives through chiropractic care, sports medicine, and physical therapy. Leah Michelle is going to join us in 9 minutes. Before we do, Judah Wickhauer, you are the director. Judah's a friend of the show. He's worked alongside us here at VMV Brands and I Love CVille for almost 8 years. He's the director of the Spaceship. Let's get to headlines. The first headline, I touched on this briefly. Watch it closely. Georgia, Colorado, Mississippi, Minnesota, Tennessee, and Montana are reopening in some capacity starting today, including movie theaters and restaurants. It's worth repeating. Georgia and Colorado and Mississippi and Minnesota, Tennessee, and Montana reopening their local economies today as we battle COVID-19, not only across the world, certainly in the United States, here in Charlottesville. I'm curious to see the trickle-over effect, and I'm curious to see the impact this has from a health standpoint. If things go according to plan, you'll see more of this. If we have a hiccup with cases and deaths, you're going to see a reel back, kind of a slowing of the reins. And if there is a slowing of the reins, it concerns me. This is a crossroads we're at right now, is the opening of these local economies. We all want to get back to work, don't you in Charlottesville? I certainly do. I certainly want to go and see people again, sit next to them, and go full capacity. I get excited being around people. Follow that story closely. I'll continue to give you updates on that. Let's go to the next headline, Judah, and that's from the University of Virginia. This one, it's a break from COVID-19. That's the positive. The new UVA logo, brand identity, was released over the weekend. And you have that on screen, Judah? Give us a thumbs up. We do. I am disappointed with this. And I'm a positive guy. I'm not a complainer. But look at what you see with the brand identity. I mean, you see Caveman, a confident guy, an inspired guy, a guy that leads the charge at football, a guy that leads the charge at John Paul Jones or Scott Stadium. You see him with his head bowed. Caveman shouldn't have his head bowed. And get the photos on screen. You got the photos there of the actual logos, Judah? Okay. We're an advertising agency. I never want to see a mascot with their head bowed, lacking confidence and swagger and chutzpah. I mean, do you agree? The V Sabres is beautiful. This was made in conjunction with the University of Virginia and Nike. Nike, obviously the global brand. They made this logo in conjunction. Were you disappointed? Put a message, leave a like or a share, and let me know what you thought about the UVA logo. I was disappointed. Caveman with his head down? That's not the Caveman I know. The Caveman I know, especially the Caveman in April 2020, is one with swagger and confidence and a leader and ready to lead the charge and having success as an athletic department across the board from lacrosse and baseball and tennis and football and basketball. That's not the caveman I know. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but that's not the caveman I know. The caveman I know is our next headline, and that's Joe Reed, UVA football player, and Brice Hall, UVA football player, getting taken in the 5th round of the National Football League draft. Props and kudos to these guys. Okay? A dream that's been actualized that they've had since childhood. Over the weekend, Joe Reed, LA Chargers pick him in the 5th round, and Brice Hall, I love Brice Hall. Brice Hall was a first-round draft pick going into this past football season, and he had a devastating leg injury that forever changed his college football career, keeping him from playing. He gets picked in the 5th round to the New York Jets, nostalgic of Anthony Poindexter with leg issues as a defensive back at the University of Virginia. Brice Hall goes, instead of the 1st round, which he was a 1st-round projection, All-American type of defensive back, he goes in the 5th round. So what? He's still drafted in the NFL. It just shows you how fragile life is. Bryce Perkins, our quarterback, picked up, next headline, by the LA Rams. So some positivity I'm trying to give you. Some positivity I'm trying to pass along to you. It's so easy for us not to think positive and to fall into the social media news feed rabbit hole of chasing politics and complaining in comments and being nasty on social and not being our true selves and going down this rabbit hole. There's positive headlines out there. There's positive headlines out there. Judah, I think, we want to talk about this. I posted something over the weekend. What will the new look restaurant in Charlottesville, Virginia? In fact, it originated, and if you go to my Facebook page, one of the top 5 posts on my personal Facebook page, you will see a collage of Post-it notes like this. A photo. So this is what I'm holding right here. And I posted some ideas of what the 2021 restaurant, what a restaurant will look like next year, not only in Charlottesville, but potentially across the world. And I want to get to some of those ideas on this show. I think restaurants are going to start bringing food to customers. I talk about that a lot. And I think restaurant owners are going to start shifting from Class A office space, like the Downtown Grill. The Downtown Grill is now permanently closed, which we've covered on this show. They're going to shift from Class A office space to more affordable office space that's less sexy and has less curb appeal and has less walking traffic. I really want to get into this analysis. Go to my Facebook page, look for the photo of the Post-it notes, and we'll get into it later today on the show. The reason I'm bringing this up, and do you have the Green Bean Boutique photos ready to go, Judah? You do, Judah? Okay, give me a thumbs up when we put them up there. The reason I'm bringing that up is like, what's going to happen to the Downtown Grill space? Well, this is a little bit of, I guess it's breaking news, thank you. Green Bean Boutique, which is a fabulously locally owned business. A fabulous locally owned business by a local businesswoman and a local entrepreneur. She's fantastic. And for our son, we've purchased stuff there. Great gifts. The store is now available for rent. And I found it on Craigslist. I follow the real estate market closely. I try to bring stuff to you. You're flipping through the photos for us, Judah? A thumbs up? Okay, great. It's for rent. And it's concerning. You can find it on Craigslist because I love the business. It's concerning because I love to support local businesses. It's concerning because I don't want to see it closed. It's also concerning because it's $2,900 a month asking for 1,400 square feet. Follow this closely. Follow this closely. Okay? You need to follow what happens with the Downtown Grill space closely. What is going to go in the Downtown Grill and the Downtown Mall? How quickly will a new tenant take that space? Will they use it to its full capacity? Will a new business come in and change it from a restaurant business model to an office space business model or something else? Following iconic spaces like Green Bean Boutique and the Downtown Grill help determine the health of your economy and what direction it's going. Green Bean Boutique is in the heart of Midtown. It is right next to Public Fish and Oyster. You go to Craigslist. I follow the real estate listings in the MLS and commercial real estate extremely closely. I'm talking hours each day. And when I see Class A office space, Class A retail space like this come now available, it's pause for concern. It's a sign of where retail is going and how it's going digitally online, but it's pause for concern because it could potentially be vacant for a while. I'm going to get back to some headlines after the interview with Leah Michelle. Judah, I'm going to go to Skype now and see if I can bring her on the show. Are you ready for that, sir? Okay, so it's ringing now. She's going to join us on the program. She came highly recommended. In fact, Aaron King, who came on this program, did a digital introduction with myself and this fabulous, intelligent, beautiful businesswoman. We're going to go live to her now. Do we have a thumbs up? Okay, you are live on 12 Facebook pages, Leah Michelle, on the I Love CVille Show. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Tell us about yourself.
I'm 35, a veteran, Army veteran, mother, business owner. Been in Charlottesville my whole life. Most of my life. My mother is also from Charlottesville. So
I've been asking everybody on the show. It's crazy times out there, right? I mean,
yeah.
How's the mental health right now? How's the head game?
Actually, my mental health is really good right now.
Nice.
Surprisingly, it's better now than it was before this happened. So I'm thankful for that.
Good. All right. So we cover a lot of stuff here. We like to talk local. We like to talk business, entrepreneurship. We like to talk positive. So how about this? Give us a flip book of you as a businesswoman, Leah.
A little OCD. I don't really know how to describe that because I've worked for myself for 5 years, but I've been a business owner, like with employees for 2, and I think I'm still trying to figure it out, honestly.
Yeah, I know the feeling. When did you start your business?
My salon, I started it February 9th, 2018. So just over 2 years.
Awesome. What do you like about being in business for yourself?
Problem solving.
Yeah, I love that. Tell me about that. Give me a first-hand perspective. Give me a story about that.
Oh my God. I feel like I do it every day. Multitasking and problem solving at the same time is probably like the thing I like about it the most and dislike about it the most. Oh man. Like for example, we have to get supplies all the time for the salon. And there was a time recently where my orders weren't coming in like they should. So, we do color. And if we don't have the appropriate color, then that's kind of messes up what we're doing. So I had to drive to Stanton like 6 times in a week and a half to get supplies for the salon. And I just made it work.
Do what you got to do, right?
Yep.
I love that mindset. That's a mindset of a winner. Did you think you were always going to be a business owner? Are you an entrepreneur first, or did you have to learn that?
I think I've always tried to come up with a business idea. I remember being a kid and having a lemonade stand at one point. So
I remember being a kid and having a yard cutting business. I felt like it was like in my blood when I was young, and now like I'm doing it. It's a crazy roller coaster ride, but I think it's like a ride that I would otherwise not. How can I go to doing a 9 to 5? Something that you know what I'm saying. I mean, throw that topic to you.
Yeah, I don't think. I think that I've thought about like going back and like why did I do this, and I should have like just gotten a government job, and then I think about how boring that would be. So I don't think I could ever work for anybody else again.
Your time in the service.
Mm-hmm.
That's baller. That's baller.
I loved it.
Why did you get into it?
Oh man. So the story is, I was actually dating a guy at the time whose mother was in the Coast Guard, and I wanted him to go into the military so bad so that we could like move away. And he didn't really want to go. So talking to the recruiter myself, I was like, you know what, I'll just go. And I was gone 2 weeks later. I was like, I'm not doing anything else, so I might as well go. So that was crazy.
Dude, you're blowing up over there. People are seeing you on the show, and they are hitting you up. They're
Yeah.
like, Leah, you were on the show, dude. All right, I respect your service. I'm grateful for everybody that's watching. Thank you. How about Charlottesville? Talk to us about what Charlottesville means to you.
I mean, Charlottesville, there's a lot.
You have a love-hate, don't you? Is it a love-hate?
I love Charlottesville, but I hate it so much sometimes. My grandfather was a band director in Charlottesville. Sorry. My grandfather was a band director in Charlottesville, and like Tunstall Park was named after my great grandfather. So I have a lot of history here. I feel like my family's here, and I don't think I would. I struggle with the idea of moving away from Virginia because of the person that I am, but I think I would miss Charlottesville a lot. So
Okay, so you have a daughter, right?
I do.
So you're then completely cool with your little girl growing up in Charlottesville. Do you think about that?
I do. No, I'm not actually.
Right?
I honestly don't really want her to grow up here, but I understand like it's fairly safe.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I want to start looking at Charlottesville as like an outsider instead of it being home, because I feel like I'm missing a lot of good qualities about Charlottesville by just kind of doing the same things.
How old is your daughter?
She's 4. She'll be 5 in July.
Okay, so our son is 2. And dude, it's like the best, hardest thing ever. And I've never been, and I don't want to speak for the better half because that usually gets me into trouble. Okay, more tested ever with this. I mean, how about for you? Give us the nitty gritty.
So my daughter is just like me in a little 4-year-old body. She is very feisty and she's independent, and like earlier she had her fingers underneath the door and I was like, go away. But she's also super sweet and she likes to hug and cuddle, and it's hard because as a business owner, especially being single, I'm always doing something for someone else, and then she kind of comes, I hate to say it, but she kind of comes last sometimes. And it makes me feel really bad. So I struggle with the parent and the entrepreneur thing at the same time, especially right now because she's here with me all the time.
I think anybody that's watching this show that's an entrepreneur or a business owner can relate. I mean, that's totally which is like, for me, it's like, Leah, it's like I missed his first steps because I was working. Okay. As you with your family, I mean, your daughter counts on you and what you do to eat. Same with my family. Yeah. Okay. So I got to be here to make sure things are good. But at the same time, the sacrifices, you're not seeing stuff.
It sucks. I remember I had to leave one of her soccer practices, games, whatever, because the salon needed something, bleachers. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, I have to go. And my mom and her dad were there. And they kind of looked at me like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, because if I don't get this to them, then how am I going to feed her later? And I felt bad, but I got back right as they were finishing, and I was like, darn it.
Well, I totally get it. Mama's got to do that, though. Let me throw this to you. How does an entrepreneur and a businesswoman that's in the salon space, how are you paying the bills now? I mean, what's the plan here? I mean, because you're a hustler. I mean, what do you do?
I've been fortunate enough to have a wonderful mother who has helped me. She actually gave me her stimulus check.
What? She's amazing.
My landlords here at my apartment and my salon have kind of given me a little bit of leeway. I've applied for a few things. I think I might be getting some funding. I'm honestly just like waiting and seeing what happens. I've had some really good support from our clients who have contributed to a little bit to GoFundMe. Nice. And have been buying gift certificates and purchasing products. So I almost feel it's really, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I almost feel like a drug dealer. Like I'm like sneaking out of my house, like giving people shampoo and like, hey, like don't touch me. Like, it's really weird. but I'm really thankful that I have some people that really care about me and my business and want to see me succeed.
I
So
respect that answer and that like honesty and vulnerability. That's like so real, and I feel like that's why people want to like come see you and like
I
enjoy their
hope so.
time with you because you're real.
I that's the one reason why I haven't been like I said this a couple of days ago on my Facebook, like I don't miss doing the act of doing hair. I
You miss the
miss
people.
my client. I miss my
Yeah.
people.
I
So
miss my tribe, man.
yeah.
You know what I would love more, and this interview is going fabulously, and that's because of you. There's nothing I would love more than to be sitting right next to you,
Yeah.
in person.
Like that yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is that weird?
No, because honestly, like I've had times where I've had clients who came in and like I don't even remember like what I did to their hair, but I remember like feeling so good afterwards, or like we cried together, or like they told me something about them, or I told them something about me, and they were like, "Wow!" Like I just miss the interaction with people, even my staff. Like I just miss like laughing and like learning about my. I don't know. It's a weird. Like I haven't really even touched hair really since I've left, and I don't miss it. I miss people. So.
I am the same way. Kate Elwood is a mom, and she's watching, and she says, Jerry, it gets a hell of a lot harder after 2. 4.5 is really hard. And enjoying the show. She's watching right now. Herb Porter says, have a great show. I'm really enjoying it. People giving you some props over here. Leah, all right, let me throw this to you. So what's it going to look like when we're on the other side of this? What is doing hair and running a salon and a brand going to look like other side of COVID?
So, I've been like doing some reopening. Like I've talked to my business coach and my rep for Salon Centric, and basically we're gonna like I guess what everybody else is doing, like no handling of cash, 6 feet, like every other station, only one client at a time. So like before we were like very honestly, I feel like this is going to allow us to get back to the reasons why I like to do hair, which is like catering to your client instead of like trying to make as much money as you can in like a certain amount of time. It's going to go back to like that one-on-one client experience, which is probably going to be a nice thing. My biggest concern, I think, is going to be like the difference in timing. So we're going to have to spend a little more time with guests, but like take out some of the things that I like blow drying, or like finishing time is probably gonna suck. But it's probably just gonna be good.
Yeah, so you're not nervous?
I'm not nervous.
Nice.
I actually really like change. I'm always changing because I feel like that's how I grow as a person. So like. And I mean, I've been in Afghanistan, so like,
yeah, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing.
Of this, yeah. Like, it's I'm more scared of like my grandmother who won't sit in the house. Like she's 83 and she's still like trying to do things. I'm like, please stay in the house. That's what I'm more scared of that than I am about going back to work.
You may have just answered this question for me, but I'm going to ask it anyway because
Okay.
I'm curious of your take. Where are you with the? We got to be mindful of everyone's health and social distance, but we also got to be mindful of like small businesses everywhere that are like so tight with like money in the bank, and that's all of them. That like closing for, especially with what you do. I mean, closing for extended period of time, that ain't good either. I mean, give me a take.
I feel like people just need to take accountability for themselves. If you're sick, if you feel like you're sick, like, and I understand that this virus, like, you don't show symptoms for a while or whatever. If we just kind of take other people into consideration, I think we'll be fine. Cleaning up and making sure that we're disinfecting, washing your hands. I'm not really a big fan of the mask thing, but I get it. But my daughter won't wear one, and if she's not going to wear one, I'm not going to wear one. So my mom's still working, and she's around a bunch of people. I feel like if you are aware of your body and if you're getting sick or you feel sick, just stay at home and get better, and maybe we'll all be fine.
Sure, respect. How do you think Charlottesville handles this? What do you think this does to Charlottesville?
I think it sucks for Charlottesville because we're such a community based off small businesses. It hurts, but I also feel like, because I'm a part of a couple moms groups and a couple Charlottesville groups, and I feel like we are doing a really good job of supporting these small businesses. So I think that's where we're a little unique, and Charlottesville is a community that likes to support other entrepreneurs, so it's nice.
How's your little girl? I'm always curious of like kids, especially young kids at this time, because like what's going through their mind is so like in the moment and like real and you know like perfect and not like tainted. I mean, what are some of the stuff she's been saying? I'm sure she's missing hanging with her friends.
She misses her daycare. I think she's enjoying being at home with me. Sometimes. We've been going on lots of walks and stuff like that, but she's funny. She doesn't understand. She understands that the reason why she can't go to the movies is because of the coronavirus. But she also walks around and will like cough and go, "I have coronavirus," and I'm like, "Don't do that." You know, she was doing the Cardi B thing for a while, which I thought was hilarious. So I think she kind of understands that there's something going on. That's why she can't go places, but she obviously doesn't know exactly what it is. So
you've killed it. This has been so easy. 16 minutes already. All right. Throw this question to you as we head to the finish line.
Okay.
Perspective you want to offer to Charlottesville and to Central Virginia.
That's
what have you been taking from this?
I actually, I'm going to be like kind of a little more real. I've actually have realized that I don't take care of myself.
Ooh, this enough. Is good. Yeah.
And I need to start thinking about like I'm 35, I'm not old, but like I'm feeling like if I've seen other entrepreneurs who like have families and like we work ourselves to death and like we don't take care of ourselves. So I have been like trying to eat a little bit better and not drink as much alcohol and I've gotten to the point where I can feel the difference between like when I eat good and I exercise for like a couple of days and then I don't, and then how I feel after the not doing it. So I'm kind of realizing how to take better care of myself during this time, which has been really nice.
Look at you. Dang, girl. I like it. It's working. It's working. You crushed it. Anything you wanna get out there? Show's yours. Support your business.
Thanks everybody for watching. And we're ready to go back to work. Studio 36. My staff and I are really excited about going back to work and seeing all of you. And hopefully one day we'll be able to hug each other again. But I just wanted to say I appreciate everyone for watching and listening to me.
Awesome. Today. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Hope to do it again. Leah, you have a good one.
Take care.
Too. She was awesome. Fantastic interview right there. Some hope, some positivity, some good energy, some good vibes for Charlottesville, Virginia right there. Thank you to Aaron King from Feast in the Purple Building for helping set up that interview. You crushed it, Leah. Absolutely crushed it. We'll archive this show in totality on ilovecville.com. We'll also turn it into a podcast on iTunes. I want to dot the I's and cross the T's on a couple things. Let's go to the stream and let's get to some comments. This is from Clay. He's a designer. Clay said, I've been discussing this logo update with several people. It took 18 months for Nike to develop that brand identity. He's so right. 18 months it took him. Put him back on. Just the picture, not the headline. He says he doesn't like him either. A lot of people not liking him. Andre Xavier, the entrepreneur, says it looks very depressing. And once again, Andre Xavier says, why not hire a local agency or do a crowdsource among the UVA students to get a better idea? I agree. I agree. Kate Elwood says, would be good on a UVA kid shirt maybe, but not sure. It's very odd. I like the V Sabres as well, not the other two. Cavman should not be bowing his head. Cavman should not be hanging his head in shame or fear or concern or uncertainty. That's not Cavman. Nike needs to go back to the chalkboard and figure some other stuff out. The little bit of breaking news from the real estate space. The landlord that owns the building that currently houses Green Bean Boutique, you got those photos, Judah? in Midtown. He is listing that space for rent. Listing the space for rent. Follow it closely. It's going to be try to stay a few steps ahead. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with these marquee spaces. As someone who is in the game with the Macklin building downtown, I'm very curious to see what happens with these spaces. That's the I Love CVille show. Tomorrow we're going to have Catherine Matthews. She's the owner of Iron Poffles and Coffee. Catherine Matthews at 12:45 tomorrow. Fabulous businesswoman in Charlottesville, Virginia. She joins us at 12:45 tomorrow on the I Love CVille show. The show will be archived in its totality on ilovecville.com, on iTunes, and we'll syndicate it for 2 weeks across the I Love CVille network, which is 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts. We have the third largest Instagram in the area, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to over 130,000 inboxes. It's just great to use this and this and this and this and this for positivity. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Take care.